What are the chances of making it to the NBA? What are the chances? What's up, guys? Definition of a man. Hey, I found this to be a very interesting video and a topic that hits home for me. And it probably hits home for a lot of young men out there as well, and a lot of young boys. So a lot of us grow up with hoop dreams, is what I'll call it. Some of y'all might remember the documentary Hoop Dreams from back in the day, a documentary that followed two young men out of Chicago and their journey of trying to make it to the NBA. And they were filmed from the time they were, young boys all the way through high school, and just all of the ups and downs of that journey and what goes into a young boy that has dreams of becoming a pro one day. And I think this is a very, very important topic. I want to just, play this clip. This is something that I ran across online, and I think it was interesting, the breakdown of the statistics, because statistics are important. So if you are a young man watching this, or if you're somebody that you have a son, or you have somebody that you mentor or you teach or anything like that, I want you to share this video with them. I think this is very important for young boys and young men to watch. All right, so I'm going to play this and then we'll talk about it after.
Have you ever thought to yourself, what are your chances of making the NBA? Well, today I'm going to break down the numbers for you. If you're a varsity high school basketball player, you have a 0.012% chance of making the NBA. So pretty much 1 in 1,000. Currently, there's roughly 500,000 players in high school basketball. If you're good enough to make it Division I, your chances increase to 4%. And if you play at a Power 5 school, that increases up to 7%. Currently, there's about 5,500 Division I basketball players, with only 450 spots in the NBA. And a lot of the spots are taken by international players. Even more surprising, the average height and weight of an NBA player in 2023 is 6'7" and 218 pounds. So if you're radically below these measurements, you're probably not going to make the league.
All right, so you see the statistics, you see the stats. Less than 1%, way less than 1% of guys that are playing high school basketball right now will ever have a chance of making it to the NBA. For those that are good enough to play D1 in college, it's about 4%. And if they're at a big D1 school, it's about 7%. So even for the ones that make it to a power D1 school, these are the schools that are playing on TV every week, getting nationally televised, end up in March Madness and all of that. Those big schools, less than 10% of those guys are going to make it. So if you line up 10 people, one of them's going to the NBA. On top of all these statistics, one thing that he didn't talk about is the international aspect. See, when I was coming up, like in the 90s, you would watch the NBA draft, and most of the guys getting drafted, I would say at that time, 80%, maybe even 90, were from the U.S. So it was a lot of guys that were from, different cities, L.A., Chicago, Dallas, Houston, New York, like wherever they were from, right? But it was a lot of U.S. born players that would make it, where now you watch the draft and it might be 50-50. It might be 50% international, 50% U.S. It might be 70% international. I mean, I've seen some drafts where it's not that many guys that are coming out of a U.S. college getting drafted. It's just interesting the way that landscape has changed. So what does that mean? That means it's even harder now. So some of the numbers he was talking about, if you're somebody that is playing ball here in the States, your chances of making it are lower and lower. Now, here's why I want to talk about this. I'm not a dream killer at all. But if your son, or if you are currently playing ball and you have aspirations of making it to the league, work hard and do everything you can. And I hope you make it. I do. I hope you make it. Here's my only caveat. My caveat is have a backup plan. My concern is that when I went to go speak to a school of kids, which is one of my favorite things to do, I spoke to a school of kids a few years ago in South Dallas. And I went around the room and I asked the boy, it was majority boys in the class, and I asked them, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to be, right? 90% of that classroom said they wanted to be in the NBA or be in the NFL. And I wish back then I had the statistics to tell them that, honestly, there's a good chance you're not going to make that. Not to kill their dreams, but to inspire them to have a backup plan. And so I'm very passionate about this now because I remember being that kid that was dreaming about being the next Michael Jordan. What I didn't realize is there were millions of other kids with the same dream, right? But if we can get our young boys and our young men to focus on robotics, to focus on artificial intelligence, to focus on computer engineering, to focus on law, to focus on the medical field. Like there are so many things to focus on, being an educator, a teacher, a leader. Like there are so many things out there that we can do. And my concern is not with playing sports, because I think sports teach you a lot about life. I learned a lot about life from sports. I'm a very competitive person. I'm a very ambitious person. I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I played sports for a long time. So it's nothing against sports, but I'm concerned that our young men are going down a path where they're focusing on one thing as the priority. If you're watching this and if you hear this, I want you to know that there is a very slim chance you're going to ever make it professional playing sports. I do not want you to stop trying. I want you to, if you are passionate about your sport, I want you to play it. I want you to work hard. I want you to grind, do everything that you can. If you want to make it professional, do everything you can to do that. And I hope that you do. Trust me, I hope that you do. But in the event you don't make it, you need another plan. So now we got to talk about going to college. We got to talk about, what are you going to study? What are you going to major in? How is that major going to lead to a career that can carry you for the next 30 or 40 years of your life? Now we got to talk about long-term planning. We got to talk about, what's a business you could start? Could you be an entrepreneur? What's some idea you have that you could birth into something that people would buy products and services from you? Like, what is the long-term plan in case you don't make it? I would say for anyone that watches this, I don't care how good you are. You could be one of the top ranked players at your position in the state, in the country, whatever the case may be. What is your backup plan? Because you need one. All right. And I'm tired of seeing so many of our young boys with this dream, and that is their only out. That is their only plan. We got to have more. We got to have more. There is so much you can do. Your mind is expansive. There is so much potential that you have outside of just being on a field or on a court. And I think what I'll do is a follow-up video at some point, just talking about all of the options that are out here, like really specifically getting into the different things that you could do for a career. And I just want all of our men, all of our boys to have a plan. So let me know what you think. Like, let me know in the comments. Like, did you grow up playing sports? Are you playing sports right now? If you're playing sports, do you feel like you're going to make it to the league? Or do you not know what your backup plan is? Or do you have one? I would love to hear from some of y'all out there. And dads out there, you need to encourage your sons to do more than just sports. It starts with us too. We've got to encourage our sons that they can excel at more than just sports. All right, so it's on us also. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.